All right, welcome everybody to the Sports with Skiz sports channel, YouTube, TikTok. I'm here with my man Tanaka, aka Knock, Shishkanak, whatever you want to call him. We won't
Multiple
dive in.
hats, multiple aliases,
we
sick
uh
freak.
we won't dive into the WVU shirt there, but yeah, I just want to welcome everybody. We came up this idea not too long ago. We're both people who have a love for sports, more specifically collegiate athletics. So just looking to branch out. Not everything that we want to do is big time Division One. We have interests in Division 2. I played for a short time in the PSAC. And we want to go the whole way down to NAIA, D3, JUCO, whatever we could do to expand the game. Knock, I don't know if you want to add anything to that or.
No, I mean, this is just something I remember you and I when we were kids, when we were younger, we were just always involved and kind of active. And, we live in a good time today and everybody's welcome and open to a voice and we have ours, and we're going to make it fun and we're going to make it special for the people. And it's going to be a little bit different, it's something
Yeah.
I'm excited for. I can't wait for the journey ahead. This is episode 1. Like we're kicking it
Yeah.
off right here, man. So I'm ecstatic about it, honestly.
Yeah, I'm very excited, and we want interaction. Whether you don't like what we're doing, give us some honest feedback, things that we could improve on. We're looking to get better. I think that's the former offensive lineman in me. I could take that constructive criticism, and if you don't agree with our takes and some of the things that we're saying, hey, we love to hear reasons as to why or why you think differently. Roast us a little bit, but just enjoy the ride. So, kind of wanted to give you guys a quick little intro to that. And with that being said, we kind of wanted to do a little bit of a week 0 preview. Nothing too crazy or in depth, but just kind of want to go over the games a little bit, give a little breakdown of what we're thinking and what we see here. So jumping into it, we'll start with the first game of the weekend. Is going to be Iowa State and Kansas State over in Ireland. And myself specifically, I love these games. I love whenever they play internationally. I don't want to see it continuously. I like whenever teams have their home field advantage, but I think it's something cool to expand the game over into different countries and things of that nature there. So, Knock, any input on this game or anything like that?
Yeah, you know what? College football, I think, did us all a little bit of a favor with this noon kickoff, week 0, Iowa State, Kansas State, Big 12 action, bro. And honestly, like, I don't want to be brief. I don't want to be brief about this. Kick-ass programs. If we're allowed to cuss on this, on the air, cool.
Absolutely, let it fly.
Great programs. I mean, low key, they're Iowa State and Kansas State both embody what I like in college football, which are just underdog mentality, but they're good. You know what I mean? They're not a slouch anywhere. When you see Kansas State on the schedule, you pucker up a little bit. And this is going to be a good one. If I had to keep my prediction brief, the spread is 3.5. It started at 1.5. And it jumped in Kansas State's favor. I don't like a 3.5, but I'll be honest. I think Kansas State's going to take this game, and I'll tell you why. Iowa State, great program. Rocco Becht, big name. Everybody loves the guy. But they lost 2 NFL caliber wide receivers. I think 2 guys that did go pro last year. And that's going to take a major hit to the offense where Kansas State still has a dominant running game. Avery Johnson's at the helm at quarterback. He fits Chris Kleinman's offensive scheme. And we all know Kleinman is obviously one of the best coaches in college. It's just that simple. So
Yeah.
I like Kansas State here, to be honest with you. And I quite frankly think that they win by 10 plus.
Okay. All right. I like
Bold
that. Yeah.
prediction.
That is a bold prediction. I do like this game as well too. I think I was trying to do some research, and I think this might be the first top 25 week 0 matchup that I could at least find.
Yeah.
So I do like that aspect. And then switching over to what you said, Knock, Kansas State, just some food for thought here last year. I know we're in a new year, but last year they did go 4-9 against the spread, and they were 3-8 against the spread by at least 3 points. So, not saying you're wrong. That is a bold
No, that
prediction.
3.5, that's where it gets scary.
It gets very scary, but
Mhm.
I am excited to see how Avery Johnson bounces. I don't want to say bounces back. I mean, he set a school record for 25 touchdown passes, which is kind of shocking to me. I figured that there would be a little bit more than that, at least over 30. But I'm looking for him to take the next leap. He had a lot of hype coming into last year. He's one of their biggest recruits they got. He stayed home. Kansas State has been faithful. Their crowd out there. They've been the big brother out there since I could remember growing up. So I do like Kansas State. I am interested to see how Rocco does. He had a hell of a year last year. Like you did say, he is losing two of his high caliber wide receivers. So it'll be interesting to see who steps up and fills those holes. I mean, Matt Campbell is a hell of a coach. He's been trying to be poached from a lot of these bigger schools, and he continuously stays home. And I think it's only a matter of time before Iowa State, makes that jump and does, take that next step to the college football playoff. They've been so close year after year. But I think with what you said, I think I am going to ride with Kansas State in this aspect. I just think Avery Johnson has a lot to prove, and they do have a powerful run game. So I do like you with Kansas State taking the points there.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
All
Just
right.
let you know too. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Iowa State does have themselves a pretty solid run game as well.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah.
something to look out for.
Yeah, yeah, and I think this will be a good tune-up game too. How they usually play Iowa in one of their first 3 weeks. That's a big in-state rivalry game, so it will be nice to see them get a little bit more of a competition play rather than them playing a FB or a FCS school. So yeah, jumping into the next game, we're going to go to Idaho State and UNLV.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts and anything on this right now? I will say the interesting stat that I found that I was telling you about here. So Idaho State, um, their quarterback is Jordan Cook, which he started in 2023 for them, threw for 2,400 yards, 12 touchdowns, but he lost his job last year to Kobe Tracy, and what he did was redshirt to preserve that extra year. So I'm interested to see, the mechanics of him redshirt and later on in his career and coming back. It shows that he was faithful to Idaho State. He wanted to stay home. So
Nice.
last year,
Love
week
it.
week one, they played Oregon State. They were up 9-7 at the end of the first quarter. So I do expect for them to, keep it a little bit close at the beginning. But I mean, Dan Mullen and UNLV, they had a hell of an offseason with the transfer portal. I mean, my favorite pickup for them, and it hurts a little bit being a Pitt fan, was Day Reynolds. I
Okay.
think he was very, very underutilized within the Pitt offense, but anytime he was in, he made some big plays. I mean, you saw that against West Virginia. I'm sorry, knock last year when they were down by 10. He caught that touchdown pass to bring them within 3. So I think UNLV is going to roll in this game. I am interested to see that 2 quarterback setup that they have going on right now. They did just announce that Alex Orji and I'm blanking on the other guy's name, the guy from Virginia. They're gonna split time in this first game to kind of see who takes that stride to lead that offense. So there's an old saying: if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none. So that might be a little bit interesting. So we'll go to you, Knox, see what you got.
Yeah, no, I love it. And I mean, you pretty much covered everything I was going to say. I don't know much about Idaho State. And UNLV, like you had mentioned, Dan Mullen is a great coach. They are one of the best, group of 5 programs in the country. Even though Anthony Calandria, the quarterback from last year, transferred to Michigan,
There we go. Yeah.
you and I had spoken earlier about that. We were a little confused as to why, because he had such success there. But I mean, hey, I think Alex Orji will be. I think he'll be a good addition. It's just like they traded players basically, and they'll give Orji a little bit more freedom to run the offense there, and they have a ton of talent coming in and from big Power Five programs. So Arizona, UCLA, Miami, South Carolina, things like that. So
Yeah.
expect UNLV to be pretty solid. And yeah, you know what? I'm going to be honest. I'm going to take them to cover.
I like that. It's usually crazy with some of these lines nowadays in the beginning dog days of the weeks of NCAA. So I am interested to see that. I will say UNLV, whenever things are going good there, their fans show out. I mean, there's a ton of stuff to do there to bring recruits in. The only thing I always get nervous about, again, a lot of stuff to do in Vegas. They play in Allegiant Stadium. If they're not doing well, they're going to get a good turnout. So I
Right.
hope UNLV could do good this season. They had a hell of a year last year. I think it's good for college football. They have nasty uniforms. They run that weird offense, or at least they did last year. So I'm excited to see kind of what Dan Mullen keeps from that offense and some of the things that he twists up with it. So yeah, I'm with you. I think they're going to roll on that. I think they do cover as well. So yeah, perfect. Now moving on to our next game here, we got Fresno State and Kansas. I'll let you start this one off if you want, Knock. I know I kind of talked a lot in the last preview, so
Oh, dude, not at all, bro. Not at all. I like this one, and I'll tell you why I like this one. One name, E.J. Warner. And Mike, let me tell you something about getting old, right? This is what's pretty cool about liking sports and getting old. I watched Kurt Warner play, and now I get to watch E.J. Warner play. And I love it. I've heard a lot of great things about him coming out of Rice. He is a new transfer to Fresno State, and he won the job. And from what I understand, he's earned it. So this is going to be major for him. The spread is 13 and a half, and I completely understand that Jalen Daniels at one point last year was a Heisman candidate coming into the season. We know what he's capable of. We know that, I think he had some injury issues last year.
mm-hmm,
He kind of fell off a little bit.
mm-hmm.
Kansas did as well, but I'll be honest with you here, man. I really like this as an upset. That's obviously a reach, but 13 and a half is plausible, and
Mm-hmm.
I like Fresno State.
I
I
like it.
Yeah,
I like what you say there. I mean, anytime you got an NFL legend's son at quarterback, it is kind of in your favor. So
got a
I am,
break one.
yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see how he does. I do think I'm going to side with Kansas on this one. I do think that they're going to win, and I think they're going to cover just because of what you said with Jalen Daniels. I think he's going to have a bounce back year. He did have the injury bug the past couple of years, but he's helped resurrect that program. And with that
Yeah.
being said, I mean, they just made a ton of off-season renovations to that stadium as well, too, expanding it.
Mm.
And I think they've been, tired of being little brother in Kansas for as long as I could remember.
Yeah.
Dating back to those days that they had Akeem Talib. Whenever
Yeah.
that's,
Oh
the
seven. Yeah.
only relevant season that I remember.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good game, though. I love whenever you see kind of like a Big 12 team versus, I guess a group of five, but the Mountain West Conference I think is tougher than what some people think. So I'm excited for this one. I will be rolling with Kansas,
Okay.
but I think it's gonna be a good game, and it could be a cause for an upset as well.
Gotcha. Yep.
All right, and then moving on to our other game here, Sam Houston State and Western Kentucky. Um, this game I'm not really too sure about. Sam Houston State, they were a Division II darling as of, I believe, or not Division II, excuse me, Division I AA darling as of, what was it, 4 years ago or so. They're a powerhouse down in Texas, or was at one point, and then moving up. But Western Kentucky, man, I have a lot of bias for them, and I'm going to be honest here. This isn't really a sports analyst take or anything like that. It's the uniforms that pull me in. Their
Okay.
their
Yeah.
uniforms are beautiful. I don't know if
Yeah.
you've ever taken a look at them. They got the
Yeah.
helmet with the eyes on the side. That's something that I really like here. Sam Houston State did have an impressive 10-3 season last year.
Right.
I do think that they keep capitalizing off of that. Like I said, whenever they were in Division I AA, they were a powerhouse year in after year. They were in the playoffs. I expect them to keep climbing, and I expect them to put a lot more money into that football program because that's what brings attention to it. So I'm going to roll with Sam Houston State on this one.
Ah. Okay. Wow.
A little throw, a little
Okay. I
throw.
like it. I
Yeah.
like it. I like it a lot. And you know what? To be honest with you, I was gonna do the same thing here. To me, this has upset written all over it. But then again, I'm also a very greedy gambler and a very risky gentleman myself. Yeah, no, you said it. Sam Houston State was 10-3 last year. They beat Southern, Georgia
Hmm.
Southern in the bowl game. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So, and Western Kentucky, they are known to have a pretty solid football program. Obviously, nothing spectacular, but always known to be a pretty high potent offense. So,
Yeah. And probably one of the best clips in the football era. This was probably early 2010s, and they were playing against Kentucky. I don't know if you ever seen it. Shout out to whoever the guy was on the sideline playing for Western Kentucky, but they were beating Kentucky University. I think they ended up losing though 13-10, but they made a big play. They supposed to be SEC. They
okay.
supposed to be SEC. I don't know if you ever heard that before.
Okay. Okay, yeah, and another thing about Sam Houston State, they've got a quarterback this year, Hunter Watson. He'll be a senior. Played well in the bowl game last year. Didn't start all year, but he had about 1,800 yards. So I'm actually looking forward to see what his progression is coming into the year. Again,
Mhm.
you know what? Off the top of my head, I can't tell you what Sam Houston State's program is, or their conference, excuse me. Um,
Conference USA.
Conference USA, yeah.
That seems to be where all the teams jumping up from Division 1 AA go to Conference USA to start out. You see that with Missouri State and Delaware. They are also in there. And then
Okay.
Kennesaw State just joined last year too. So it seems to be where the newcomers go.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right.
All
Well,
right.
yes,
Yeah.
I guess we're both in agreement on Sam Houston State here. Plus 320 on the money line, plus 10.5 on the spread, so uh,
hmm
fingers
I like them
crossed.
with the points for sure. I like them
Like
with
them
the
with the point.
points.
Yep.
Yeah, I like them with the points. And one of the juicier games of the day, I believe. I think I would put this one as the second most game that I'm looking forward to this weekend is the Stanford Cardinal
Mm-hmm.
versus the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. These are always games that I love. It's not a team that you get to see all that often with them playing at 12 o'clock Eastern. It's hard to stay up for it. And I think they have a great chance at winning this. I think they might honestly be better than Stanford overall. Stanford, I mean, let's be honest, they haven't really been the same since Harbaugh and Luck. They've had a couple sprinkles of magic, but they really haven't been able to find that consistency since they've left. It's been a couple of dog years. They're now in a weird situation where they're playing in the ACC. As a Pitt fan, I hate that conference realignment. Bring back the Pac-12. I hate it. It's
Mm-hmm.
stupid. Whatever. I won't dig in much more. Um, but I mean, the biggest key to me is the players at Stanford lost in the portal. I mean, if you take a look at it, David Bailey, one of the best defensive ends and edge rushers in college football, left during spring football and went to Texas Tech. They also had Julian Neal, one of their starting cornerbacks, excuse me, went to Arkansas, and then they had a number of other players, including two quarterbacks, transfer out last year. So there's a lot of unknowns with this Stanford team. I do see them taking a little bit of strides forward with Andrew Luck helping them out and becoming the new GM. But I just don't know if I see much with this roster. Not to be, if we have any Stanford fans, I'm not trying to harp on you or anything like that, but the roster doesn't really scream, competitive football team. I think it will soon enough. We got to have some of those tech guys who graduate from there. They got to throw in some NIL money, tell them to help out, empty their pockets. We need some nerds that love sports.
Oh,
Need nerds that love
the amount
sports.
of doctors they have there. I mean, come on,
It's crazy. It's crazy. So, with all that being said, I didn't give much of a breakdown on Hawaii. I don't really think there's a need to. I'm going to roll with them. I don't know what the line has moved to now. I saw it was at 2.5, I believe. I might even buy points and take them, at 5.5, just for a little extra juice. But
Mhm. Nice.
Knock, I mean, what do you got from this one?
Yeah, so it's kind of weird. Did you ever notice, I'm a Colts fan for those who don't know, and it's almost like they have a thing. Stanford and the Colts have like a thing,
Very
and
similar. Yeah.
Harbaugh was a Colt,
hmm
Andrew Luck was a Colt, Frank Wright coached the Colts, you know what I mean? And now Luck is now the athletic director, so something's come full circle. So the Colts and Stanford have a little bit of a history. Don't forget now, John Elway went to Stanford. The
Yeah.
Colts
Yeah.
drafted him in
Yeah.
'83, and he said, "No, go f yourself. I'm
Yeah.
playing baseball," and then went to Denver. So Stanford and the Colts have a really weird history.
That's
Listen,
funny.
man, I've watched Frank Reich. I've watched him coach. I love the guy. I think he's not just a good football coach, but he's an incredible person. I think what he's going to bring to the locker room is a lot of hope.
Hmm.
Everybody's going to count out Stanford. And he and Luck, and you can't put it on those two guys. It's obviously about the kids and the coaches that they do have, um, that are helping and assisting. But I think Stanford will build themselves a program. I don't know if it'll be this Saturday.
Yeah.
Um, I am going to take Stanford though.
Okay.
With
All
that
right.
being said,
Little curveball. I like it.
I think the offense. I think Frank Reich is going to, it's going to be a pro style offense, and I think that they're going to run a pro style defense as well. I think they're going to be physical, and I think they're going to be fundamentally sound. And despite the fact that Hawaii has a head coach in Timmy Chang, who
Hmm.
was the quarterback before Colt Brennan at Hawaii, so
Hmm.
he's a total legend. By the way, Hawaii's win total on the year, fun fact, 5.5.
Mm.
So it's up to you if you think that that's going over or under. We don't see too many good Hawaii teams. However, they do have a good quarterback that they're excited about, Micah Alejado, if I'm not
Hmm.
mistaken. He only played in just a few games last year. However, he can spin the rock.
Hmm.
Something I do like. Hawaii's always kind of displayed that spread offense. Like I said, even dating back to the days of Colt Brennan,
Yep.
Devon Best at wide receiver. So this is it's a toss-up game for a reason. I'm sure most people and the public are going to take Stanford because they know Stanford.
Yeah.
Typically, I root Hawaii, but I'm going to rock out with the Stanford Cardinal here.
I like that. I like that. And another thing I was looking at too, I think this is a game that you could flirt around a little bit with the under. I'm not an under guy. Shout out Big Cat from Barstool. Life's too short to bet the under, but 50 and a half points is something that scares me a little bit just for, week zero. These guys really have just played against themselves. They don't
Right.
practice as much as they used to. Two a days, only certain days you could have your shells on. So I'll be interested to see. I think a lot of these
I
games are
like
going to be
that.
sloppy. A lot of these games are going to be sloppy. This isn't going to be for everybody. This is going to be for the sickos and the ones who love college football, including ourselves here. So I'm really looking forward to it. So take a look at those lines, see what you think. But yeah, I think that just about covers it. Like I said, I want to welcome everybody here. If you found
Absolutely.
us, on purpose or on accident, I hope you stick around. I hope you like it. I will say this is our first show, so if we got some things wrong, again, bear with us here. We're just learning a little bit more as we go. Again, we're open to the critiquing. We're open to the feedback, whatever it is that you think we need to work on. We are in it to do it. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm fired up. Football is finally back. The best time of year. There's nothing better. Maybe March Madness. Maybe March Madness. They're gonna hear that a lot. But yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to be heartbroken by Pitt again, as is every year since I've been on this earth. But shout out to my Panthers. I'm looking forward to you guys beating the Duquesne Dukes next year, or not next year, next week.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, knock any final thoughts, any final words?
No, man. Just know that this is going to be a long journey. It's going to be a fun journey. You know what I mean? And like my partner said, if there's any kind of critiquing, if you guys want to comment anything, really good or bad, we don't care. We're tough guys, Fun fact, you stated earlier that you were an offensive lineman. It's the offensive lineman, and I once played on the O line. So O line pride, brother.
Hell yeah.
Pop Warner football, whatever. We love the game. We're going to try to take this someplace. And quite frankly, we are going to try to share the stories of a lot of smaller schools and a lot of people that you may never have heard of before. You know what I mean? We're looking to branch out and reach people and we want to hear everything that they know. I don't
Yeah.
care. I don't care if you used to play in the NFL, if you're a scout, if you're an athletic director, if you're a Division III backup. I don't care if you
Yeah.
punt. We want to hear your story. We want to hear what led you to where you are. Do you love football? What are your life, goals after sports? Things like that, things of that nature. And
Yeah.
we'd love to build a community and a following of people that just are like-minded individuals, just like Mike and myself. And let's get this money.
Yeah.
So
Nicely put,
yeah.
Knock. Yeah. If you guys are watching and you know of anybody who might be of interest, from small schools to new startups we're looking into, new programs, anybody, if you want, your team to have a voice, you're a coach, you're seeing this for some reason, hit us up
Yeah,
at Sports with Skiz across all platforms,
yeah, of
essentially. We'd love to talk with you and, network a little bit and go from there. So appreciate everybody for tuning in.
course.
Looking forward to this continued journey, man. So
Yep.
thank you all. We really appreciate it.
All right. Yep. Have a good night, guys.